Okay, welcome to part 2, the reveal. My name is Walter O'Neill. I'm the founder of antiquesarena.com, and this is
Kieran Hughes-Jones, and I run taliesinantiques.com.
And as you can see, we are in Kieran's lockup now to do the live film and reveal right here on the table in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one subscriber made a really good suggestion, and she said, why don't you film it piece by piece as you bought it, so we can actually follow the day as it went along, as a horse race, if you so to speak, and you can see who's going along. So that's what we decided to do. We're going to show you each buys in order that they came, and you can judge for yourself how the day was going along. So I think we're going to start with you today.
Yeah.
And then we go from there. So anything you want to say before we get into it? In fact, introduce yourself and your channel before we get into it.
So we've done it a little bit differently. I think originally we said we were going to have 2 separate videos for each part. We talked about, we just thought it'd be easier if we just did this one together. We're going to put on Edward's channel, but there should be a collaboration sort of thing. So you can find my channel. There should be a link. It should be easy enough to find.
And if you think, there'll be a link in the description for Kieran's channel anyway. Now, Kieran's original video point of view is totally different to mine. Loads of people have commented saying they've watched both videos and how different they were.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be really interesting. And I just hope you enjoy the reveal. So we'll start off with Kieran.
Yeah.
This was Tree Castle.
This was Tree Castle. Yeah. So that was the first place we went to. So it's an antique centre. Interesting place, just kind of dotted in the middle of nowhere, really, isn't it? Yeah. Just kind of around the Brecon area. But yeah, you saw us go up there. So here we go. Here are my three items I picked up. So this was, I think you can actually see in my version of the film, I think you can actually see me picking up all 3 of these. So I'm sure you spotted them. I don't think I hid the ideas. I went for them. We'll start with this one. This was the first thing I found. Okay, by here. You can see we got 2 cameras on the go here, so we're making sure that we got some good views for both. So this is a very beautiful piece of Chinese cloisonné, and it's just a small bowl or planter. Now, what was amazing about this was just a fiver, and it was a fiver because of that tiny bit of damage there. Which, you know, when it comes to cloisonné, what a lot of people don't realise is this is like a glass. If I was to drop this on the floor now, it'd be crackled all the way along. So for that to be the only bit of damage is not really a problem to me. I don't know about you.
No. I think it's very hard to find good cloisonné in mint condition, and that's why it pulls hundreds of pounds when it is mint.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a beautiful turquoise ground cloisonné vase or plant or whatever you want to call it. I don't think you'd actually put a plant in this, a work of art. What date do you put on that?
Well, this is actually quite a hard one to date because the style is not like a usual Chinese style where they very rarely have these kind of larger areas of the enamel.
Yeah.
Usually there's a lot more smaller cloisons, as they're called, hence the name. Now, I think this style is supposed to be replicated in a very early, even like Qinglong, possibly even as far as Ming cloisonné, but I do believe it's later. I believe this is late Qing. I think it's late 19th century, which is amazing. What a lot of people don't realise about cloisonné is it's a lot harder to find good antique cloisonné than it is the porcelain. They made a lot less of this stuff.
Yeah.
One thing I'll show Edward first. I love that copper ring there, where you can see the wear. That's a very good indicator of age to me. I'm sure a lot of people will look at this and think that it might be later, which is fair enough, but just in my opinion, the style, the patina, little signs like that, I see it as late Qing, and that's where I'm with it at the moment. But what do you reckon?
Yeah, I thought when you bought it, I thought at the worst it's early 20th century. At the worst.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really nice thing, good quality, good weight to it.
I love the tones, the colour tones, like the pink and the flowers and stuff.
Yeah. What you're looking for with anything Oriental, whether it's porcelain, whether it's enamel, cloisonné, whatever, come by here, what you can see is the shading. It's not just a solid block of colour. You've got the yellow fading into patches of pink going into the turquoise. The time it takes to do the shading and the blending and everything is what adds the time and the value. If it was just a solid block of colour, you'd instantly think it's a much later piece and a much more mass-produced piece. But what you got to realise with cloisonné, when they put the paste on, it goes on like a powder or a paste, and it fires at a different colour to what it actually applied. So these had to be skilled people to know where to place all these colour pastes.
Yeah.
So yeah, really nice thing. So you paid a £5.
Well, I should say like one final thing as well, because I remember someone asked me on this is one of my videos, they said you seem to don't show much regard when it's damaged. You kind of just sort of gloss over it. And that is true when it's a piece like this. And the pieces I buy, that generally is the case, because I'm looking for things which are rare, and I accept it will sometimes be damaged. Now, if this was bought on Bargain Hunt, it probably wouldn't be, because they go, oh no, there's a bit of damage there, that destroys the value, which is, I was going to swear then, but I won't, but it's a load of rubbish. So the idea that that little scratch there destroyed the value is just absurd. And the dealer thought that because they put a £5 on it, they just put £5, small nick. So there we go.
You've got to take into consideration rarity. Now, rarity outweighs condition. Obviously, everybody wants it in perfect condition, but the collectors, true collectors, will want something to have the example and will accept a little bit of damage just to have it. It's better than not having the item at all. So what do you rate that one at?
Well, I'm thinking I've sold a similar one which had more damage at 150. And it's the only one online actually I could find which was similar to that one. So I'm going to put it around that sort of area. I think it's a bit smaller.
Right.
But that will be the minimum amount. I'll do some more research. I may even go a little bit higher than that, to be honest, because it is such a beautiful thing. And to be honest, if I put it up a bit higher and it doesn't sell for a while, it's not going to be a problem. Me enjoying it anyway, so
fabulous.
Very happy with it.
So what's your next piece?
Let me move out of the way.
Go on then.
The next piece is this decanter we'll talk about. So Bristol Blue. Quite an unusual thing going on here, which is a kind of gold applied over it. Let's just get the decanter top. So it's like an iridescent gold has been applied, and to the body as well. It's a very strange thing, I would say. Now, why did I pick it up? Well, if you try and get it, you might have to take it over. If you see the bottom, there's a mark, and within the pontal mark, there is a little flame. So it's been marked deliberately and quite unusually like that. So I took a chance on that one. I didn't know for sure what it was, but I thought it's a ship's decanter as well, so it's got that sort of wide base to make sure it stays steady on a kind of uneven surface. So I thought, well, it's Bristol Blue, which is a nice colour. It's got a lot of history, the colour Bristol Blue. I thought it could be. I knew it was 20th century, but I didn't know what point. And I thought, you know what? I think Ed would have gone for that, so I'll get it first.
I would have had you bought it.
It came in. It was priced at £25. The shop was offering 10% off, so it came in at £22.50. Now the real surprise with this one came when I got it home. So it took a while to do this. I was focusing on this mark here. So as I say, it's a pontal mark with a flame. I was trying to just work. It took me a while to try and find it, but I did eventually. And this is an early Isle of Wight glass mark, so the flame mark, so associated with the very good name Michael Harris, who was famous for Medina glass, but he also then went to Isle of Wight after working in Malta. And so 1970s, I believe. I think it's called an azure. I think that's the colour, isn't it? It's a colour azure. Well, the value of this, I actually found a sold example on eBay. I used eBay Terapeak, which I have access to, and there's actually a sold example like this on there for £234. They also paid £17 shipping on that one as well. So there we go. That worked out
fabulous,
pretty well.
Absolutely love it. I'd like to say a lot of the times when you get this iridescent finish or oxide finish on ceramics or glass and things, it's generally, if it's like ceramics, they will open the kiln and they will chuck metal oxides and salts into the kiln and it goes into the air and then is absorbed. I imagine with this, they probably, with the stopper at the very least, maybe rolled it in like a metal oxide powder and then refired it. This looks more like a dusting, like a light powder dusting of the metal oxides. Beautiful thing. Lovely blue colour.
We'll see where it was probably held, but
yeah. What I will say, these are hand blown. So, Kieran's mentioned here about this seal, but what they normally do when you have a hand-blown decanter or hand-blown glass, these days they will ground the pontil mark off and polish it smooth. You don't even know it's a pontil mark; it's just a little dent. What they've done here, they've obviously snapped it off the rod and they got the pontil mark, and then they've pressed a seal into the pontil mark to finish the pontil mark off, which has slightly concave the base on purpose so that there's no rocking on the pontil, but then turned the pontil into the seal, which is, I think, is a lovely thing.
Yeah.
Really nice.
And the value's in the collectability and the history of it.
The value's in the name.
Yeah, in the name Isle of Wight and the Michael Paris Association. The fact it was a very early piece by his factories, and I can't imagine there'd be many of these about.
Well, you could only find one, and I couldn't find one.
Yeah.
So there's not many of them about, and yeah, anybody who collects Isle of Wight glass, that's going to be a real good gem for them.
Yeah.
Well done. So that's 2 cracking finds for you.
2. Not a bad little stop, was it? Middle of nowhere. Now we come on to this one.
This one's too big for that, unless we're doing a close-up. All right.
Okay, right then. Well, this is, as you can see, is a big pewter jug. It's got the lid. I doubt many people, well, it'll be interesting anyone who has actually, has seen one like this before. The shape is very unusual. The size and the shape, it's got this like nice lion finial by there. Now, it's got what they call pewter touch marks. There's actually 2. There's one on the handle there, and then underneath. There's one there. Probably could get that on the foot. So it's a bit like I don't know.
Touch mark is a pewter variation of a hallmark.
Yeah.
Is the only way we can explain that.
That's a heavy piece of pewter. It's got hammered nails there as well. I think that likely dates it to 19th century. Now, this is what I found on this. Pewter is a very difficult thing to identify who made it. So the thing about pewter makers, obviously the practice goes back a long way. We're going right back into the medieval period when there was a lot of pewter vessels being made, so jugs, tankards, all sorts of things like that. And as we said, there's a lot of touch marks. Now, the closest thing I could find, there was a lot of pewter making on the Channel Islands of Guernsey and Jersey. So the thing is, they were doing it for a long time. The touch marks that were being lost to different factories and makers over long periods of time. The chance of me being able to identify to a specific person based on these touch marks, they're not the most elaborate. It's going to be very difficult, but my opinion is that it's probably 19th century's Channel Islands. There's a possibility that it's older than that. It could be. I could be completely wrong though. This could actually be. I think there's Scandinavian pewter, there's French pewter, there's German pewter. It's made all over Europe. Just the style. I think what made me think it was this part here looked similar to a lot of the Jersey pieces, the handle. So there we go. But one thing is for sure, I couldn't find anything of that size and that shape. So.
Well, you mentioned about pewter being used for a long time. I want to expand on that slightly for people watching. I'd like to point out that in China, they've been creating porcelain and ceramics for a couple of thousand years. However, in the UK here, for example, we didn't create porcelain until the 1750s, Worcester and things, first period Worcester. Mm-hmm. So up until then, people were using pewter and wood all the time. So the amount of pewter plates you get around our area and things like that, well, they used to be quite common. And one of the ways we used to help date them, if you couldn't find the touch mark, was pewter always copied silver shapes.
Yeah.
So it was the shapes of silver into pewter. And a lot of people even polished pewter up to a high shine and it looked like sterling silver.
Yeah. I just think I'd love to find the silver version of that.
This is really heavy. This got to be about 4 or 5 kilos. I haven't looked the mark up. This is the first time I'm seeing it since we bought the items. I think it's a lovely thing. I've got a couple of books on pewter touch marks. I'll actually lend you.
Sounds good.
And you can go through them and take the time if you want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're about right. Late 19th century at the very least, isn't it?
Yeah. But so that's a good thing. This is a little tip. I always look at nails. I think nails are a good indicator of age. They're not guaranteed, but you can say that machine-made nails don't come into the very late 19th century and then became common during the 20th century. So it's a very industrial era thing. So when you see hammered nails, like you got here, so made by hand.
It's more a rivet, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. But it's the same
Yeah,
applies, doesn't it? So, but yeah, it's not to say that just because it's hand hammered doesn't mean it doesn't guarantee that it's 19th century, but it increases the likelihood because if it was made later, especially I think quite a large, unusual piece like this,
it's got a good shape to it as well. I like the shape.
Yeah, we can imagine using that is a centerpiece pipe, isn't it? That's made for somebody who wants to make a statement.
Yeah, it's a grand piece.
The line video as well. That's just an added touch. You don't. A lot of pewter is just completely made for utilitarian purposes. Yeah. It's not made to be decorative.
So, value.
Well, this is a tough one, to be honest, because what could add to the value is
the making history.
The making history and the fact it's such an unusual shape.
Yeah.
If I could say this is Channel Islands, early 19th century, then someone was a collector or even a museum down in that part of the world.
Yeah.
Might be interested in something like this because it's not, as far as I can tell, there's not another one like this. That obviously increases the value quite a lot. I think just as it is, as a decorative piece, it's got, to me, I think it's 200 quid.
Right.
Just for what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Now, again, this was £25, 10% off, I got for £22.50. So I'm very happy regardless.
Yes,
I say if we can start proving or saying actually this is a very rare piece, unusual shape, you could be going up to doubling that price. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a ceiling, to be honest, because just for
there is no ceiling. It all depends on maker, age, and rarity. Let me give you an example. I picked up a Pewter vase in the car boot sale. I paid £1 for it. And it was shaped like a mortar, a bomb from World War II. Anyway, after researching it, I found it was by a designer called Archibald Knox for Liberty. And you'd think they have a ceiling, but they sell for hundreds and even thousands. It goes on who made it.
Yeah.
At the moment, you're seeing it around £200. You may find out that it's 18th century. You don't know.
Yeah.
Until you know the research. At the moment, we're only speculating on what it is. It has to be researched.
It does. I've done a little bit at the minute. I couldn't find much. I got to keep going. This is a behind the scenes look. This is why I doubt you can see it. If anyone who visits my unit will see the amount of stuff that's not for sale. Well,
we can't move.
I know it took a while to get set up. But a lot of it is because sometimes I have to just leave it aside and come back to it, and then obviously never come back to it. But there we go. I think there's you can't see them in shot, unfortunately. But if you watch my other video,
the whale eye lamps,
you saw the pewter whale eye lamps and how rare they are as well. So who knows? I'm saying 200 for now, but we'll see where we end up with that one.
Okay.
If anyone's watching who knows something about this, I'll be very interested in hearing from you. Before
I pull my items out, I'd like to say we're filming the stuff. We haven't researched it fully yet. We've given you what we understand. But if anybody knows any more about any of the items in today's video and you want to share or help, feel free. We're not experts. We are general dealers. We're antique dealers. And we buy what we love and we research it then. So what did I get? Unlike Kieran, I only bought one item in Tree-Castle. Kieran bought 3 really good items per there. That Isle of Wight and the cloisonné I absolutely adore. Pewter's nice, but I adore the Isle of Wight and the cloisonné. But I bought one single item. I nearly bought 2. What was the other thing I was after? Can't remember, but I left it there. Oh, it was the pump. World War II pump I liked, but I left it there. And I also found a really nice 1820s jelly glass. You saw me point to it in my video, which was only a 10, and it should have been like 40, 50 quid, but it wasn't exciting enough for me. So, what did I buy? I bought this, which is a 15-inch diameter porcelain charger. Now, before anybody starts saying it's not old, it dates to around 1980s. So it's only about 45-year-old. However, what I can tell you is, well, let me actually give you a story first of all. I'll tell you about the item, then I'll give you the story. What we got is a fully hand-painted charger. The entire thing is hand-painted. Here we have all hand-painted calligraphy. Now, this calligraphy tells the story of the image. And what the image is basically is, you have some very high-ranking officials here. in front of a gate, and then you have another official here who's given an award to someone over here. And this all talks about how he's lived a virtuous life and how he's been honoured and awarded for his virtue. Now, that was very, very big during the 18th century, the Kangxi period. They very much liked rewarding people for virtuous lifestyles. So this is copying what they did then. So this was generally an award given to somebody in maybe the 80s for a virtuous life. Maybe they'd done something good. Maybe they were just honourable. I don't know. So it's basically an award. It's fully hand-painted. It's a beautiful thing. On the reverse, it's got this powder blue finish and a full Kangxi hand-painted rain mark. It's not of the period, as I've said. I'm not expecting it to be of the period, but I thought it was absolutely beautiful. It's got a bit of damage on it right there, and I knew that buying it. So, everything fully hand-painted in the Kangxi style. Calligraphy is an art form in itself and requires a lot of time and skill to do and do well. So there's a lot of work gone into it. Now, I bought this in Castle, and when I go home, Kieran will vouch for it, I put this on a Facebook group. And I put it on the Facebook group, and what I said was, can I have your opinions, please? I said, in the listing, I said, I know it's 20th century. Now, I actually thought it was closer to 50s, maybe 40s or 50s, purely because of the amount of hand painting and the time taken to write all that calligraphy. But the level of arrogance, snobbery, the amount of comments I received of it's a bad reproduction at worst or at best, it's worthless, it's modern. I had a load of different comments. So what I decided to do was to send it to a proper expert, Peter Coombs. I sent it to Peter Coombs. I said, look, I know it's 20th century. I said, I'm not sure if it's 1950s, 1980s. I said, but it seems really good quality to me to be dismissed as mass-produced junk. Peter Coombs sent me his video appraisals as he does, and he talked all about the story, outlined that there's a huge snobbery in the antiques industry, especially where Chinese porcelain is concerned, and he talked about in the video how there's some remarkable pieces coming out of China. In fact, they're that good at making Chinese porcelain and cloisonné now in China that even Sotheby's and Christie's and things are getting fooled by these pieces going in through their sales. And what he actually finished his statement by stating, it's a good piece. He said, put it away for your grandkids, and in 100 years' time, they'll be able to go to college on it. So he actually rated it. And what he actually also said in the video was, well, you've got to also consider people felt exactly the same way with the snobbery and everything else during the Republic period, saying it's nothing more than a copy again.
Yeah.
Now, you shared an article this week of a Republic vase selling for £18,000.
Yeah, and that was on eBay. So it wasn't like some high-end auction house, just on eBay, over £18,000. So
I think it's a beautiful charger. It's all hand painted. It's not done with stencils. It's not done with transfers. It's hand painted. It's big. It's beautiful. And I said on the day, I know it's 20th century, but I said if it's not worth the money, I'll live with it.
Yeah.
But I was really pleased with Peter Coombs' appraisal of it.
Well, one thing I'd say, and this is kind of what proves that a lot of these Facebook experts are not experts, is they called it a repro. Now, it's not a repro, because a repro would suggest that they were trying to deceive, and they made it to try and fool you into believing it was Kangxi.
Yeah.
That's not the case at all. It shows you don't know what you're talking about. This is a painting made for its period.
Made as an award.
Exactly. So
specially commissioned, no doubt, as an award.
Yeah. And you've just got to be careful with people who call themselves experts on Facebook. As you said earlier, we don't claim to be experts, but the thing with us is you can see through our videos how we go through that process of identifying the logic that we use, the research we do. We put ourselves out there, and we open ourselves up and we explain why we come to the conclusions we do. The people on Facebook, and I'm sure many of you have seen this, sometimes you just get fake. Or you just get...
I was getting one-word answers or 2 or 3-word answers poor copy at best and fake and modern. People don't even take the time. They give you an opinion. They don't even take the time to give a reasoning behind it or an opinion behind it of why they think that. They think their opinion is ultimate. Take their word, go walk away, crack it in the bin. Now, I've actually wrote an article on this since asking for help on this charger. I wrote an article on my website. And I outline the snobbery of these self-righteous, self-appointed Facebook experts.
Yeah.
Now, some of them are really good and really helpful. And I've done a really balanced article. In fact, I think it's 66 pages long. It's a proper article. I wrote a book on it. And I show you, I even show you the comments. And I tell you another thing they did. I bought in the summertime a I Ching teapot by one of the most important living masters of all time. It's worth a lot of money. And I put that on the Chinese I Ching group. And I was having comments back of it's not good enough quality to be real, fake, copy and all this. I sent it to Peter Coombs, who authenticated it. Said it was absolutely amazing, beautiful piece. So check the article out. Honestly, it's a really good article. But I think the reason they've used the Kangxi mark is not to deceive you that it's Kangxi. It's because what they're doing is very much in the Kangxi style, where they're honouring a virtuous life.
It's I'm going to say the word wrong now, but it's called a prickrical.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not claiming to be from that period; it's honouring that period.
Yeah.
So it's not the same. This is, it's a lot of Republic period porcelain does that. A lot late Qing does that as well. People who think that's a repro don't know Chinese, as far as I'm concerned. They just think they do.
Yes, it's 1980s, but it's a beautiful thing. It's come out of China, and it was, as I said, it was probably special commission as an award. Now, we did actually find one sold in China.
Yeah.
Identical, and it was sold in an auction in China as vintage. They didn't date it, but they said vintage. But they're not going to say 1980s, I suppose. But they achieved £500, or 4,800 Hong Kong, which is about £500 plus the costs. So somebody in China has paid £500 for one of these. And that was the only other one we could find. Now, you would think automatically if it was a mass-produced knockoff, they'd be everywhere. But I can tell you now, nobody's going to take the time that it takes to do all that calligraphy the way they've done it, paint all this for mass-produced. They would simply just decal, transfer, or stencil paint it.
Yeah.
So, I think I've listed it for £175. And if it doesn't sell, as I already said to you, I'm going to get a mount and it's going to go up on my office wall because I think it's absolutely beautiful.
There we go.
So, what do you think? Do you like it?
Yeah, look, I think I like I've said this to you, kind of added to the story as well, because it's proven a couple of other things around. I think I said it's like saying, well, that decanter's worth nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's 1970s, or studio pottery's worth nothing. When it was made is not the whole story. It's part of the story.
Can you tell me how much I paid?
No.
I paid £31.50.
Yeah, I would have remembered you, because £31.50 is very specific. They were being very strict on the 10%, weren't they, in there?
Do you know, before we move on to the next shop, I want to actually talk about this. Because I have never ever heard this statement before. This is a quote. We're not doing very well, so we're not really doing trade discount anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's that? Yeah.
Make that make sense, because normally if something is struggling, they put on a sale to generate cash flow.
Yeah.
So why would you say, we're not really doing big trade discounts and things like that because we're not doing very well? I would have thought you'd have encouraged trade to come in and say, we'll give you a bit more discount, come in and buy some stuff.
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
Yeah, so I'm trying to work it out. So I suppose you're thinking, well, obviously we would have lost a bit more money there. But the whole purpose of trade discount is trade are regular buyers. So you think...
And you encourage them over the door.
Yeah.
And if trade come in and they see something they can make a profit on, they're going to buy it.
Yeah.
Now, you encountered something very similar in Malvern. Was it Malvern or which?
Malvern, yeah. Malvern was very much along those sort of lines.
Do you want to explain them?
Yeah, so I think I put a video out around where I did a trip around Malvern, and I think the general feeling was, my feeling was that not a lot was changing hands. So I ended up buying okay, but things were expensive there. But I thought it was an interesting insight into trade at the minute, because now you mention it, you're absolutely right. It's exactly the same mentality of, I'm not doing very well. I want to get as much as possible for every item I sell. But the problem with that is you'll lose the sale, and then you've got nothing.
Yeah.
So
you still got the item with no money.
Yeah. So you've got, it's a difficult position to be in, but as far as I'm concerned, you've got to try and make, as you said, cash flow is very important, keeping things moving. The problem with the antiques trade as well is if I go to a fair now and see those same items again, I probably won't want them. I would have thought, part of my impulse to buy is seeing them for the first time and thinking, I want that.
Yeah.
But you sort of loses
It's not even just that, because if the items are still there next time, you're in the back of your head is everyone else have thought it's worthless too.
Exactly.
So, anyway, moving on. Where do we go next?
We went to, well, it was charity shops then, wasn't it? We went to Llandudno. I'll walk out for this part. So it was Llandudno town. We did visit Llandudno Antique Centre, but we'll leave that. We found nothing in there. Well,
charity shop.
We found a lot in there, but it was too expensive. But we went to the charity shops. We had a little look around. I bought 3 things.
Pull them up. Your first out today.
There you go. I'm not going to talk these down. I'm happy. I was happy to buy them. But you'll see why you bought, and you can see why I'm a little bit apprehensive.
Remember to show a member there, okay?
Yeah, so we went to a lovely little charity shop. She opened up just for us. Very nice lady. I was distracted by these butterflies here. Now I haven't gone so far as to work out what species they are. But it's just a nice little picture with 2 butterflies. So it's like a type of taxidermy where they've been preserved. And they've got nice colours, and they're very pleasant. That cost me £3.50. Now, I saw that as being around £15, £20.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a fair, safe valuation. Taxidermy, not everybody's cup of tea, but I do like butterflies myself. I've had trays made of butterflies. I've had all sorts. Yeah. And I got to be honest with you, I do like butterflies, and they are very, very pretty. And one of the things you're looking for with butterflies is the colours.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you get these big moths that are very neutral and beige in colour. What people want, if they're having butterflies, is the pretty colours, the pretty patterns.
Exactly.
And then it's crazy how they're always symmetrical. Look at that. These in both sides.
The beauty of nature.
So, yeah, really nice thing. Okay. So, 15 quid, there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. The next one. Now, a lot of you will all recognise what that is, I'm sure. Now, well, having said that, it's those Jasperware, which is the style, this kind of sprigging of the white on usually a blue ground. I think that's known as Portland Blue because it's based on the same colour as the famous Portland vase. This one is by Wedgwood. There are other makers of Jasperware. I think Adams. There's others.
Princeton, Adams, there's a few.
Yeah. Now, the reason I went for this one, because Wedgwood Jasperware is not the most, there's a lot of it about. I went for this one because the mark simply says Wedgwood, England. Now, that dates it to around 1890. The Kinley Act is what changed all that. So in the US, they brought in a law which said that you had to, on any item coming into the country, you have to have the country of origin. That came in 1891. So that's why you'll see England, you'll see China sometimes, and it'll just have the name of the country. Around the early 20th century, that changed to, it had to say made in. So they had to add made in to a certain country as well, not just the country of origin. So that means if you just see England, that helps date it to late 19th century, early 20th century. So it's an antique piece of Wedgwood. Nice box. And the main thing is that cost £1. So it's something like that's going for £1. Nice antique, classic style. I'm very happy to pick that up and probably see that around 20 quid.
Okay.
Something like that. It's got a famous scene on there, which I haven't. It's going to be some sort of neoclassical scene with looks like a unicorn there. So around 20 quid, could be a little bit more because it's antique, but it's not going to be fortunes.
Okay, well, Josiah Wedgwood started in the 18th century. What you will find on a lot of 19th century Wedgwood is you will have a date letter stamped into the back. When it says Wedgwood, you will have a date letter, and then that doesn't go on. And then you can do the exact date or the year it was made off the date letter that's impressed. Does it go on?
Yeah, I think so. And on the inside, look.
Well, there you go. And you can, if you look at the date letter on the website, you'll actually get the exact year it was made.
Yeah. I didn't know
So
that.
you get Wedgwood and you get a date letter or date code. But yeah, Josiah Wedgwood, been going since the 18th century. I love the stuff. Now, the one you want to look for in Wedgwood is not the plain blue and white, not the plain black and white. What you want is the multiple colour, the tricolour, the quadruple colour. The more colours you got, the more money it's worth. If you get 3 or 4 colours, let's say for argument's sake, you could have this very same pot. You see here is 15, 20 quid.
Mm-hmm.
If that little ring of flowers around there or wreaths around there was, let's say, purple, it'd be £45.
Yeah.
And if you add another colour on top of that, it would have been £145. The more colours you get, combination, the more value.
Well. And then just finally, it's a nice piece of Murano. So it's a shot glass, or I think they call it a beaker glass as well. Only a small little thing. It's got the polished pontil there, millefleury, and I can't remember what they call the gold leaf that they use as well. But yeah, so a very nice style. Now, I picked this up. This actually cost £5, which was a bit. I think she saw me come in, didn't she?
It wasn't that. We were in the shop, and in all honesty, she listened to everything we said. And Kieran actually asked me to come over and said, "Is this Italian Murano?" and that. And I said yes, and she heard. So she charged him a £5 instead of 50p.
Yeah, yeah. It was just sat there on the top, and I don't think they put any value on it. So it was a £5.
It's lovely.
It's a nice thing. I liked it enough just to say, "Oh, fine, I'll just pay it." And we were both quite surprised. I looked these up. I was quite surprised by the values of these. Now, it's one of those items where people chuck all sorts of silly figures on them. You can buy them directly from Murano's own website because they're still making to this day similar ones. And I think they'll sell you 4 for around 250 quid, maybe a bit more. There's people asking for similar ones I've seen online on eBay for like $150. I see it around, and I think I saw sold examples. I see it as a £35 glass, which was better than I thought. I think in my head when I bought it, it's probably 20 quid. So 35 quid, I'm happy with that. So
Italian glass is some of the best in the world. In fact, they used to train their glass blowers, right? And let's just say you were not allowed to discuss the secrets of the glass blowing that went on there. You would have probably found yourself swimming in a res. But yeah, nice little things. Nothing wrong with them at all, but I added something a little better.
I get a couple of things.
Okay, so Kieran's just said his charity shop finds were spread over a few different charity shops, so we're not going to separate the charity shops out. The pieces I've bought here come in from 2 or 3 charity shops.
All in Llandudno, though. It says Llandudno what site?
No, they were Llandudno and that.
They're all in. These are all charity shops in Llandudno.
Right. So, as you can see, I haven't even unpacked them from when I bought them. That's nice. So we're going to start off. The first charity shop we went in, we got there and it was closed. You saw us there and we were gutted. And this lovely little lady comes riding along on a mobility scooter. "I'll open it for you now." We go in. I go straight to the back room, all the ceramics, the glass, things like that. I think on Kieran's video, you see me actually looking at a cork diorama with butterflies and bumblebees and things. It was lovely, but too far gone. And Kieran's in the front room and he's looking at these little butterflies. We swap. Now, bear in mind, I was in there for a good 5-10 minutes. He was in there for a good 5-10 minutes. I come into the room Kieran was in and talk about not seeing the wood for the trees, something being in plain sight and you just can't see it because you can't see everything. It was all on top of us.
Well, a small defect, that is true, but I was actually, most of that time, I was helping them put their stuff outside for the customers and stuff. So I was basically working in the charity shop. But yeah, I didn't see this at all.
This was in the stick stand next to all their clothes. So if he'd actually moved the stick stand to outside for him, he'd have seen it. This is absolutely gorgeous. I'll put photographs in on this one. It's easier for you. So what we have here is a solid bone, more than likely camel-bone, Islamic design, probably North African walking cane. But it's not a walking cane as such. It's got a crutch top. So that would mean it is designed for leaning on over long periods, which generally is for shepherds, things like that. It's got Islamic geometric carving in the top. It's got turquoise stones set in around here, turquoise stones being for warding off evil, things like that. It's got, let's just assume they're nickel bands, because this is a segmented cane. Camel-bone wasn't long enough to get a full stretch of bone. Unlike scrimshaw and things where they use whalebone, where you'd have a single piece, or you'd have a spine of a shark or something like that. Camel-bone, they've done it in segments. So each segment is all carved. It's got nickel banding, and all the nickel is engraved with this Islamic patterning as well. Now, it does have a wooden foot. This is all solid bone, and this is just a wooden foot. Now, I'm not sure whether the foot was designed intentionally wood to absorb the impact on the floor so the bone didn't break, which is a very possibility. Or it could also be that a bottom section of the stick has got damaged over time and it's been replaced. Either way, we are talking an absolute stunner. Early 20th century, Islamic, camel-bone walking cane.
Yeah.
Cost me £10.
And you've got all the kind of arabesque motifs even in the nickel as well. So it's not like they just strapped it on.
No.
A lot of care and work has gone into this, and someone's, really loved this and put the time into it. Yeah, I was absolutely gutted. There's something very pleasing about that. I'm a big fan of a nice walking cane, and the amount of work that's gone into it, I think it's an absolutely beautiful thing. And that would have been worth the trip alone.
I've listed this already at 245. There isn't another one out there. Period. There isn't another one out there. There are a couple of other camel-bone walking canes out there, but they're standard walking canes. And I feel that the standard walking cane is more done for export wear. Where, because this is a crutch, it's got the turquoise stones set in it. It could be a turquoise stone, it could be turquoise paste, but I think it's a turquoise stone. From all the design, I think this was actually made to be used rather than an export piece. And I think that also adds a little bit to it. But I thought it's gorgeous. It's not ivory. So I can actually ship this. Camel-bone can be internationally shipped.
Right. I was going to say about that, yeah.
It is a really, really beautiful cane. And the lady turned around and what did she say? That was only left on the doorstep this morning.
Yeah.
It wasn't in there. We were the first people to go in because it was left on the doorstep that morning. She took it in, put it in the stick stand. We were in the first ones in the door, and I bought it already for a tenner.
There we go. What else do you want?
£245, sir. And do you know what? I think that's very, very fair.
It is.
I think a cane collector or a cane dealer would probably be asking £300 to £400 for that.
Who knows? They could ask more. There's part of me who thinks they might ask more than that.
They might do.
Yeah.
There isn't another one of that style out there with the crutch.
Yeah.
So that was my star buy, well, one of my star buys from the charity shops. I had a pair of these. I'll share with you now. Now, if you watch my channel, you know I absolutely adore 18th century, 19th century drinking glasses and glass. What we have is a pair of 19th century hand blown. You can see the big dip there with the pontic mark, tons of wear. They're hand blown and hand cut heavy whiskey tumblers. Now, you all know I'm partial to a whiskey myself anyway. I believe they cost me £1 for the pair, or £1 each. I think it's £1 a pair.
See that. See, that's very interesting because I'm sure, like a lot of people watching, clear glass I find difficult to learn. But now I look at that, so I wouldn't necessarily spot that as being Victorian.
Look at how much wear is around there. Now, bear in mind, right, this has not been outside scratched on concrete. This is just general wear from on and off wood tables and worktops and things like that. It's got tons and tons of wear. It's hand blown. They're really nice cut crystal.
Yeah.
Really nice glass. Anyway, they're not fortunes, much like Kieran's. They're £20 for the pair. But if you want a nice, good single malt, you won't find a better tumbler to drink them out of. So I like those.
Nice Christmas present.
Yeah. So this is a bit of, let's just say mid-century, maybe a bit earlier. And this is what they call ice glass. Now, there's quite a few people have done this. Backer have done it. Italia Glass have done it. There's quite a lot of people. No, I haven't researched it. It cost me £3. It's a comport or taza, hollow. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm going to have to carry on and do the research on it, but I can tell you now, I've sold them in the past. It's not signed. I was hoping it would have been the Backer one or something like that. It's probably Itala Glass or one of the other Scandinavian glass companies, and that's probably £25.
There we go.
And it cost me £3.
Yeah,
But then comes my other star buy from charity shops. Kieran was there first again with this one, might I add.
I was at the cabinet, yeah. Just didn't see it.
Right. So this is how it looked in the cabinet. And I actually went to the counter and I said, can I please have a look at the silver and malachite brooch? And then they pull it out and it's a big solid silver pillbox. Inset with malachite, fully hallmarked on the back, Mexico 925. And a lovely bit of malachite. Now, I paid £9 for it, for a solid silver and malachite pillbox. However, I found similar examples between £75 and £95.
There we go. I mean, there's no mistaking what that is either. I think it literally says
925.
Mexico silver, does it?
Mexico 925.
Oh, there we go. Here we go. If he wasn't with me, I would never have known I missed it. See, that's the thing.
But you're learning.
Yeah, have a proper look at things. Like charity shop, like the jewelry, I'm quite new to. Looking for. So weirdly, in charity shops, I just assume that all the silver is going to be top retail. But that's where assumptions get you. Like even I don't even think I looked properly because I just assumed, well, in a charity shop they're going to be, and it was one of the big charity shops. Wasn't it? I can't remember. I think like British Heart or something.
Yeah.
So you just assume that they would just have it all priced up to the total retail, but clearly not the case.
A malachite and solid silver pillbox, like that. And you've got to be honest, it's a good weight.
Yeah.
It's a nice pillbox. Lovely bit of malachite at the top. £9. That's a gem. It really is a lovely gem. I got one other charity shop piece. Shall I pull that in now or at the end?
Wait till the end. Yeah, because it was the last place, wasn't it?
Right. So that's it for there then, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Let me wrap.
I wonder if they can tell how annoyed I am about these. About 10 across on my face.
That's it.
Oh, I love that. Well, it's nicely weighted as well.
Good
Not just decorative, that. Right, now, so we are in the Works in Llandilo, so the Works Antique Centre we visited, and I think we both rated the place. It was it was really nice items in there. I thought the prices, they ranged in there, so you had the top retail, and then you had some really good deals in there. So
I got to be honest, right? There was a lot in there that I was right on the cusp of do I, don't I? If it had been 10% less, I'd have bought them.
Yeah.
And I'd have probably spent a good £1,000 in it. There were some really good high-end pieces in it.
Yeah. That's definitely a place to go and visit if you're on the road. Now, I picked up one item in there, and I'm sure if you're looking at this, you're thinking, well, that's just a Toby jug. So why did I go for this? Well, first of all, it's an unusual little squat Toby jug. Very nice sort of orange glaze. You can see then it contrasted with the blue glaze on the interior. What got me about this is if you look underneath, you might have to go have a look. It's a mark on there which says CH Brannam, Barnstaple. And there's another one which I couldn't quite make out at the top of it. I think it might just say made in England, possibly. But maybe there's more to it.
I think it's just CH Brannam there. Barnstaple. Yeah, I think it's just CH Brannam again. Because I can see the CH there, so I think it's Brannam. Two Brannam mark.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, who's CH Brannam? So Brannam of Barnstaple, so it's the Devon area, associated with early 20th century, making a lot of kind of grotesque, experimental glazes, big collector's market, purely because of just the colour and the interesting character and shapes. I know a lot of the pieces they make. So you had a very nice piece at Brannam recently. Yeah, and they use local legends and things like that to kind of create these very interesting, grotesque, they're known as, and just unusual pieces of pottery. And now this one is based on the very classic Toby jug. Toby jugs going back to, I believe, the 18th century, I believe, possibly a bit earlier. Very early, made as tankards for pubs. And they're using that tradition to add their own spin to it with this orange glaze. Now, what's interesting about this is when I looked it up, they didn't make many of these. I could find one, which was an orange glaze, and interestingly, actually different to this one because it had an orange interior, it didn't have this sort of blue glaze as well, which was in the Barnstaple Museum in Devon, where they collect a lot of the Brannam pieces. So that's the only one I could find. I saw like this picture somewhere where there was like two of these. There was a blue one next to it as well, and they had a little card that dated it to 1910. But I couldn't find it. It was just a picture. I could find nothing else on it. So quite a rare piece. I thought it'd be worth looking into. When I saw the only other one was in the Barnstaple Museum, when you see that, you think, well, obviously there's a reason it's in a museum. They're not going to just take every piece of Brannam. I thought it was worth picking up. I made an offer. I think it was up for £45. I said, will they take £35? And they were very generous and they just accepted it. So £35 for that, for museum quality piece.
As Kieran mentioned, I picked up a grotesque spoon warmer unmarked and had 125 for it. This is a uranium glaze, so it's going to glow in the dark, I would imagine. It's uranium glaze. Have you tried it?
I've tried it. It doesn't. So I think it's more just called uranium glaze as a decorative.
Right. But we're talking Charles Brannam. Real nice thing. Love the orange colour. And yeah, when he showed me in the antique centre, I gotta be honest with you, my first thoughts were, Toby jugs are really hard work, mate. Because I actually said that to him, and then he said, "Yeah, but I've seen the maker." And then I thought, "Damn, I missed that." So I gotta be honest, I was quite envious. Toby jugs are a hard sell, but anything Brannam is a good sell.
Yeah, it's one, and you are right. The Toby jug collectors, they were big, weren't they? Like if you had a Toby jug, you were talking big money, probably up to 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That market has died a lot, but they are still out there, and they want, if they're Toby jug collectors, they want things which are really unique and rare.
Nobody wants a mass-produced Royal Dalton character jug anymore.
No.
And there used to be a time people would spend 70, 80, £100 on a character jug by Royal Dalton as an investment. Now they've lost all their money. There are still collectors out there. There are still museums out there that will want this. But what they do say is, if you got something that is struggling, like character jugs, like Wedgwood Jasperware, you've got to go for what is unusual. For the Wedgwood, it's multiple colours. For this, it's the name, Brannam.
Yeah, that's my point. I think it's got two collectors' markets. This will appeal to the few Toby jug collectors out there, and then you've got, of course, the Brannam Brannam pottery collectors. So, very interesting piece. Very happy to have found that. So,
lovely thing. Value?
Value, I think it'll probably go up just for its rarity. About, what do you think? I was thinking 250.
Yeah, it's got to be worth that.
Yeah. So they go for 250 just purely because of rarity, and we'll take it for it. We'll see what happens from there.
I think it'll end up in a museum. I do honestly think it'll end up in a museum, and any museum, even Cardiff Museum, would be happy to have something like that.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, in this antique centre, I had two buys. This is my first. Now, if you love equestrian, then you're going to absolutely love this. I have bought. Now, it's not a very old one. Again, however, we have a brass inkwell, double inkwell, with the brass liners. Take them out. So we got a really, really good looking inkwell. You got your pen holder here at the back, so you'd put your pens across there. And I love that it's got this old Shetland pony, maybe? It's got an old horse on it anyway. With all that rigging, what do you think? Some type of Shetland?
I think Shetlands have bushier.
I'm not sure. It's got a really nice horse on it anyway. It's got all the flowers and everything. I wouldn't go as far as Art Nouveau because the flowers are not really flowing and organic enough. Maybe inspired by the Art Nouveau period. It's a good looking thing, but it is not old. but it is a really nice, large decorative inkwell. Now, I paid £22 for it, and I got to be honest with you, I rated it at about £55. I bought it purely on decorative basis. I didn't buy it because it was an antique. I bought it because I absolutely loved the fact it's an inkwell. It was decorative. It was impressive to look at, and it's got a horse. But 55 to £65 is. I'm probably going to put 65 on it and see what I get. But I think that's a lovely thing for an inkwell.
Yeah, very good. It's interesting in an antique shop. It's the sort of thing you might look past because your state of mind goes into a little bit of a different based on the environment you're in. If you've seen lots of like antiques and stuff, you might look at that and quickly dismiss it as modern. But then if it was in a charity shop or a boot sale, you'd probably run to it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a really nice buy, very decorative, beautiful piece, and there'll be plenty of people who will be very happy to have that.
Purely bought on decorative purposes, and I know somebody's going to love that. People don't really write with old inkwells and things anymore, but people collect them and they look good. If you've got an office or something, they look really nice on the office desk.
Mm-hmm.
So they're purely a dressing piece. Look at that!
There you go.
Looks lovely, doesn't it?
Mm.
It's such a nice thing.
Yeah.
And you've also got the pen holders there.
Even better. There you go.
Look at that! I love it. Absolutely love it. Really nice thing. So, I also had...
What drink are we going to put in there now?
Whiskey.
Yeah. This video won't be out for a couple of weeks, will it?
Okay, let me give you my thoughts. I saw this, not hidden away in a corner or anything, but on private place, as you see there, in the centre of a stall or a booth, on a table. It's absolutely soft. It's raining out there. Anyway, what we have is a hand-beaten hopper ewer. It's been made in multiple sections. Let me give you an example. Just this section around the centre here has been made in different parts, hammered the pattern in, and then soldered together, brazed with brass. It's got a equator line there, so it's been done in two parts that way, but it's also got vertical lines, so it's probably been done at the very least in 4 to 6 parts for just this bulbous piece here. All the spout, everything, it's all been hand hammered, hand finished in brass and copper, and I think it's a gorgeous thing. Now, when I saw it in the antique centre, the first thoughts that come to my mind is you sort of got this sort of gooseneck. It's Turkish. Now, the Turkish, when you're looking at anything Turkish, if it's pre-1922, you're talking Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
Now, you've done some looking for me, and you found a much smaller version listed as Ottoman Empire.
Literally half the size.
So you're talking down here.
Yeah.
This is majorly oversized. Now, I done some looking. And normally, when they're this size, they're modern, sheet-pressed, with piercing, and they're lamps. They're made into lamps on purpose, and they're modern. They're not old at all. This is an antique ewer. I think it dates to the early 20th century. I think it's sort of 1910, myself, give or take.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Which would make it Ottoman Empire. I got to do more research on there. I really have.
There's a lot of verdigris on the inside, which means it's been used.
Yeah.
So it means there was water in there. Potentially, the lids have been open a long time as well. And there's interesting. You can see the original. We were talking about the machine mills earlier on.
Yes, I had 1 or 2 repairs.
But that one's an original look.
Yeah.
So that looks a lot more. We were talking about nails and rivets earlier on. That looks a lot more hand hammered, doesn't it? That's a mechanical repair one. So.
No, I've been doing a lot of research on it. And as I say, I found quite a lot of identical pieces formed as lamps. But they're made, you can have a piece this size and still only weigh 1 or 2 kilos because it is such thin copper, pressed out on a sheet, pierced by machine, and then soldered together modernly. Now, I don't know if you can see it. In fact, I'll splice photographs in. You've got all the yellow brazing coming up here. Now, that's an old style type of welding.
Yeah.
When you look down here, you can see signs of hammer marks. So it's been hammered by hand. It doesn't look like it's just been pressed in a machine, mass-produced. I don't know. I think it's early 20th century. I think it's Ottoman. Well, What I do know for a fact is we found one half the size sold for £250.
Yeah.
The size matters. I know every lady out there is going to say size matters, and it really does with this.
It doesn't matter.
I paid £70 for it, but I can tell you now, right? That's close on just the copper melt value. That's the scrap value nearly of the copper, right?
I always think with something like this, right? Like, how on earth did that arrive in the country?
Yeah.
Like, what was, say it dates the earlier 20th century. What was, like, I know there was a lot of people traveling around the world and stuff like that, but how did they get out on their boats and how did that get into the luggage? I just I'd love to know how some of these things did get back, and that goes to show why it would be so rare, particularly in this country, to see something like that. Because
Well, it's majorly oversized. I think it's 30 something inches tall. Can't remember exactly how tall it was. Well over 30 inches tall. It's in really good condition. It's had a replacement screw here, which is stopping the lid closed tidy because the screw is sticking through, which I got to replace that screw or cut the end of it off so the lid closes tidy. And it's got a little break under here somewhere or the other side. I did see it earlier when we were carrying it. But there.
okay.
Now look at that. Look at that verdigris and that aging on that.
Yeah, that's
Now, don't confuse this with a mass-produced Moroccan piece that's just been stamped out as a lamp. Right?
Yeah.
This is not a cheap Moroccan mass-produced piece.
The numbers.
No.
It does. So it's got a 3 and a 5 on there, which I don't like. It's all 3 and 3.
No, 2 3s.
Which
is going to be the size of the band.
Yeah, that doesn't. Some people might think that. Got to remember the numerals are Arabic. They're called Arabic numerals, so they obviously would have been used now way back. So yeah, that's interesting as well. Maybe it was part of the 3.
But there's the base.
Well, that's a nice piece of patinaed copper, isn't it?
So yeah, my thoughts are it's early 20th century, before the Ottoman Empire broke up, and I think it's north of £500 comfortably.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a really unique piece of copper. It's a very decorative piece of copper. I'm going to cut that screw down. I'm going to leave the screw in there because it has aged. It's been there for a while. And I'm going to cut the top of it off so the lid shuts tidy. Other than that, it's a lovely thing. More research is going to be done on it. But I don't know what you think.
I think it's amazing. This isn't like I didn't see this, and I didn't not see it either because you couldn't have missed that thing. I would have grabbed it instantly, and what you paid for, I think, spot on. Look, a smaller version of the same thing is worth around the 250 mark. That is a oversized one, massively rare. I just think it just is a decorative thing. Like even if you. The dates almost again, it's one of these things we're talking about the date a lot. I think just pure, who's going to buy that? It's going to be someone who wants it for their restaurant, their hotel, something like that.
I thought a restaurant, it'd end up in a restaurant or somebody's home.
Like a shisha bar or something like that.
Yeah. 100%.
There's a lot of people who...
Somewhere up in London in the back shelf like that, looking absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely hand beaten, it's handmade, it's hand soldered, it's huge. It's like when you buy an 18th century drinking glass, right? Standard 18th century drinking glasses are 3-4 inches tall. You get a mammoth one that's 6-8 inches tall, the price doesn't double. It goes up like 10 times.
Yeah.
I got mammoth drinking glasses there from the 18th century, and where a standard drawn trumpet might be £100 or something like that, I'm asking like £500, £600, £700 for the mammoth. And this is the same with this. This is massive. It's very, very heavy, and it's just a lovely big lump of copper.
Yeah.
But we're not finished there. One of us got another buy.
No, I got another one.
Have you?
I got one in Ammanford.
Come on, then.
You had a charity shop one, didn't you?
Oh, I'm very sorry. You can give your friends a little shout out.
Yes, so Ammanford Antique Centre, which, believe it or not, is in Ammanford. So they're in the town centre there. Nice guys. I've been to their shop before, and I saw them in Bilkwell's as well. They do the trade shows. Lots of interesting things there. If you like your Welsh blankets,
Oh God, they were amazing.
incredible.
Never seen a pink one before. We had three. They had a full row of Welsh blankets, but they had three proper Welsh tapestry blankets, and one was pink, and it was a king size. It was 300. And bear in mind, Kieran and I were offered 20% discount, which would have knocked that down to 240. And I was really umming and ahhing because I really rated it. But Kieran and I don't work on margins. We don't buy something for 240 to sell it for 300. We buy something for 50 quid to sell for 300.
Yeah.
That's the only way we survive.
Exactly.
Margins.
So very fair price, and they also have a lot like Welsh coal mining memorabilia and stuff.
Oh, they had a paint in there, and I may buy it next time we go. I told you about it.
Yeah.
They got an original oil paint in there. I think it was the artist's name was Clark. Yeah, I'm sure it was Clark, and it was an old winding wheel building. You could see the winding wheel and that, and original oil painting from 70s or 80s, and I really rated it. It was 145. Take my 20% off.
Yeah.
Would have been like 110 quid, 120 quid for an original painting. And again, it was really close.
Yeah.
If it had been 80 quid, I'd have ripped it arm off.
Yeah. So, well, their pricing is they're very good on their pricing actually. Because that's what pricing should be really. It's like it makes us think about it.
Yeah.
We just need a little bit something to make us think we can make a good profit on it. That's what I picked up in there. So this is a Chinese bronze, maybe brass as well. It's I suppose it's in between this very similar metal alloys they are. It's a censer, so an incense burner would have been used. You put your incense in there. Would have been used for offerings, that type of thing. A lot of decoration on there. So you got two sort of dancing dragons. Let's see how many claws they've got. If I didn't actually check this out yet. So 4-clawed dragon. The reason that's important is a 5-clawed dragon is always associated with the emperor. Now, if you go right back, sort of Qinglong sort of period, it was you would never see five claws on a dragon unless it was made for the emperor or they get their hands chopped off, maybe worse.
Yeah.
Later on, when you get into the late Qing 20th century, they would get more comfortable using the 5 claws. Anyway, this is the 4-clawed dragon. It's got a mark on the base. I haven't actually checked this out, but it's almost always Guanchu, these sort of pieces.
No, I think it's a Jundi mark.
Oh, okay.
I think that's Jundi if you look it up.
All right. Yeah. So a 19th century mark. Now, the chances of this one...
No, Jundi's Ming.
Oh, is it? Sorry.
Yeah, Ming mark.
I'm thinking of Chang-Ti or something like that.
No.
I don't know. But yeah, it's okay. So we know it's not Ming. So it's like we were saying earlier on, more of a historical reference rather than a claim to be from that period. Now, this one, what I always find, if you look at the mark there, it's not clean. It's like it's a bit of crudeness to it. Now, if that was a clean mark and it was a 19th century one, I'd then start thinking, well, maybe this is of the period, and then you're talking serious money, a sort of marking period bronze censer, just like this, same shape, doesn't even have to have the decoration. You can get up to 1,000, something like that.
3,000 for a good censer.
Exactly.
This is 20th century, isn't it?
20th century. Early to mid 20th century, made probably for export. A nice decorative piece. Plenty of people collect these and have them on their shelves.
You could also use it.
You can
still use them.
Yeah,
it's a nice thing. It's not as heavy as I thought it would be, but it's still substantial.
It's got to keep glass marbles in.
Yeah.
So you can use it for all sorts of things. It's got some verdigris to it, so it's got some age. So yeah, I picked it up with the discount. It came in at £18.
How much you rate that?
I rate it about 75, 50 to 75.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Nice Chinese incense burner.
Exactly. So it's a nice decorative one as well. With the dragons. There we go. It's a nice piece. There we go.
Okay, so the very final buy of the day, we go into an antique charity shop. Where was this? Ammanford, and they got 2 sections for the same shop, and we almost missed the shop.
Yeah.
Because we went into the one and it was all clothes, and we walked back out and he said, "Is there another section?" And we went round and it was another section to the shop. Anyway, we both have a walk around, and someone by here goes, "Oh, do you know what? I can't be bothered walking around this shop." Walks outside and goes on his phone.
Yeah.
He's out on his phone for about 5 minutes, and I come out like this, carrying this big elephant, and he takes a photo of me laughing at me.
I think you said before as well. You kind of agree. He's like, I can't believe some of these places have so much crap.
Yeah.
And why they bother selling them. And I was like, oh yeah, I agree, I'm going out, I got. And next thing I know, turn around, there he is. If you watch my video, you'll see that exact moment when he comes out.
Anyway, so what we got here is, again, a late 20th century Chinese export porcelain. Well, they're normally plant stands, but I think this one's a seat because it's actually got a saddle that's carved. So you can't put a plant on this. This is a garden seat. It's formed as an elephant. It cost me £20. What can I say for it? It's not a lot of age to it. But let me give you an example. There's Rowan Tree Cancer Care in Aberdeen are selling almost identical for £375.
Wow.
I know. I have just sold the same size elephant, but as a plant stand with a flat top for 75.
There we go.
That's the price I sell them for all the time, and I sell 4 or 5 a year. Gotta be, because if I see them, I buy them. People like them. They like elephants. They like them in the patios for plants on, things like that. This one is a garden seat, and it is just a good-looking elephant, and it is huge.
Wow.
Very heavy, very big. A nice elephant. Still got the 20 quid price tag on it. And what do you think of that?
Oh, it's a nice one. It's like something. There's something a bit more. What's the word I'm looking for?
Ornate?
Not so much. They're always ornate, but usually they're kind of very similar. So they're like the machine factory. They come out of the factory.
They come out of a mould, don't they?
Yeah. This one just got something a bit different about it. It almost seems like it's maybe a little bit of an older one.
Could very well be a little older.
It's got the nice symbol there, sort of happiness, double happiness symbol.
They're also hand painted.
Yeah,
they do hand paint them.
A lot of people. That compares to be Chinese. When you see these up, a lot of people say these are Indian, which I suppose the elephant suggests that. But this has got a lot of Chinese symbolism on it, which it's got the bat symbols.
Yeah,
very similar to your plate actually. It's very similar sort of way of drawing the bats, and then you got the double happiness. So there we go. Put lovely piece for the garden and.
So this was the final piece of the day. So let's have a chat on the day, is it? Now, we started out the day as a friendly competition to see who could get the best items, who could win. It was never about who could make the most money. And I think, in my opinion, I don't know how you feel, but I think I'd call this a draw. Because you've picked up pieces that are museum worthy. You've picked up some rarities, some good names like Michael Harris. You've picked up that cloisonné. You've had some nice things. I got my little Ottoman Empire ewer. I've got my silver pillbox. I got my Chinese charger. I got my, I think we bought them very, very well on the day.
Yeah, I mean, so what's the difference between this, I suppose, and you get similar TV programs, and all they care about is making quick money, and that's why they stick them in an auction. Now, none of these items were bought to be put in auction. They will not see an auction whilst we own them.
No.
So we bought them to put them on our website and show real appreciation for them, and we just love the history of them.
Yeah.
And I think going out and on a little road trip of the day and coming back with those items, I think I said to you, that's as good as any. It's up there, I suppose, because we've had some good boot. I was going to say as good as any boot sale. We've had some very good boot sales here. That is as good up there. It's one of the best days out we both of us have had. And if we went to a boot sale and did a similar trip, then we would have come back with a lot more kind of working stock, things that we bought for £1 to sell at £20, £30, maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have come back with so many sort of rarities and museum quality pieces. And I think it's fair to say that, like, if I had to pick one item which is my personal favourite, I'm not saying it's the most valuable or even the rarest, but my personal favourite is your walking cane. I just absolutely love that. To me, if I had to pick one item for myself, it would have been that.
And do you know mine?
What's that?
Believe it or not, even though everybody slagged it off in that Facebook group and it's modern, my porcelain charger.
Yeah.
I said to you on the day how much I loved it. I loved the calligraphy. I loved the painting on it. I loved the size, the colour.
Yeah.
I said to you on the day, when I bought it, I said, I know it's 20th century. I said, but if it's not worth any money, it's going on my office wall.
Yeah. There we go. You can't ask for better than that, can you? Because it doesn't matter then. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And I say what's interesting about that is I think it's the story of being added to because of that whole debacle and what it proves about
Yeah, but it could be
mindset and stuff like that.
it could be a full commission build just for that honour, for that award.
Exactly.
There's only one other that we could find out there. Now, what I will say, if anything's mass-produced, this elephant is mass-produced. You see hundreds of them online. If it's mass-produced, there are many of them. Mass-produced means they just mass-produce them as cheaply and quickly as they can. They don't spend hours and hours and hours painstakingly hand-painting calligraphy and hand-painting the design when they can print it off on a transfer decal, stick it on and paste over it.
Yeah. And especially with calligraphy, one little mistake.
The whole plate's ruined. The whole plate's ruined, isn't it?
So a lot of something I've learned from Chinese people I've spoken to is in our country, when we learn how to write and spell, we learn how to spell the word correctly. In China, they're learning how to write, and it's not about just getting the word right; it's about getting the finesse and being able to write properly. That's why a lot of people who learn Chinese, they don't even bother to learn how to write it. They learn how to speak it, but the writing is just a completely different journey.
Difficult.
And you've got to keep staying on top of it as well. Yeah. So it's, to say that it's difficult to do is kind of like, us Westerners don't really appreciate that.
No. So that's my favourite. It's the 1980s porcelain charger. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's my favourite. But other than that, I think we both had an absolute stormer of a day.
Yeah.
Now, if you like it, first of all, as I said in the beginning, Kieran's got his version on his channel. There's a link in the description anyway. I got my version on my channel of our day out. This is our reveal. Now, I'm actually going to go one step further than Kieran, and we may do this himself. I'm going to go back at some point, and I'm going to go back through all my footage of filming when we were out and about. And I'm going to actually, if I can find a few pieces, I'm going to point out a few pieces. I'm going to talk about a few pieces, why I didn't buy them, why I like them, and things like that. But that is going to be a members-only side. Because it's going to be a bit more educational. It's going to be why I didn't buy them. It's going to be insider tips as to why I didn't buy them. It's going to be insider tips of what I liked about them. Things like that. So that video, it may take me a week or two because I got so much going on at the moment. But that is one I am going to plan on doing. And I will do that on every one of these. So Kieran and I, we've planned on doing this at least until the boot sale season starts. And we may even continue doing it because we've had a lot of positive response.
Yeah.
We enjoy doing it.
And another thing I'd say as well, I'm going to grab it because it came up in my comments. So just to show, I have got one of these gimbals. So someone like where I'm going with this is we are interested in hearing feedback about how we film it, how we produce it, how you want to see it.
We also got to hide the cameras.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, because someone said, well, why don't you just get a gimbal? I was going around the shop and it was a bit jolty. So if that annoyed anyone, I'll try and work that out for next time. Someone suggested a gimbal. Now this is a gimbal. Now the problem with that is walking around like that. It's not very inconspicuous. So the problem with it is we're trying to go to as many places, trying to cover as much ground as possible. We don't really want to get into long discussions with shop owners.
It's not just that, right? If you were filming and they think you're making money off the films, they want a slice of the pie as well.
Yeah.
And we don't really make any money off YouTube.
No.
Right? We really don't. And in fact, Kieran's demonetized. So we don't make any money off YouTube, and we don't want to have a conversation with them going, oh, well, you can film that, but not that. Or we want this. If you're going to film, we're going to charge you £100. We don't want it. Right? All I did was walk around with my phone like this, and I was like this, doing videos, and the only difference I did to what Kieran didn't do, but said you didn't want to, is I slowed my video down when I uploaded it. So instead of going like that, it goes like that. So I did slow my video down, and that I haven't really had the complaints about it being jolty, but people didn't like my music.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the music down a bit more on the next one.
I think so. I'm going on a bit now, but I think like if a lot of you will watch, like I do as well, to other people who've gone to antique fairs and shops and stuff like that, and the difference is, from what I can tell, is that we're doing something a little bit differently. We're trying to cover as much ground as possible. We're looking for gems. We're staying in there for a long time, getting in amongst it. It's the footage is kind of, what's the way of putting it? It's more difficult for us to get. Like, another thing that's difficult is to film whilst trying to spot things.
Yeah.
And I found that in the antique fairs as well. So just what you get from what we do is you're going to get a lot more coverage. hopefully find these. I mean, hopefully proven just from one little trip around South Wales, we had no idea how that day was going to go, and we come in with these pieces that we found out were exceptional. I can't wait to go further afield and try new places and eventually do the same routes again, that type of thing. So,
well, the next one we're going to do will be after Christmas now. Maybe between Christmas and New Year, maybe just after New Year. But we're going to do another one now in January. I'll pick the place this time, and we're going to just jet off again, and we're going to film it again, and it'll be the same style. So Kieran and myself will both film the video separately when we're out and about, and then we'll probably do a reveal like this and tag both channels on the reveal, because I do like how this day's gone. I got to be honest with you. I like the video.
I prefer doing it like this, yeah, rather than having two separate videos.
If you've liked it like this, let us know. Because in all honesty, we're only guessing what you want. If you like it, you need to let us know. All right? Leave a comment. What you like, what you don't like. We do listen and read the comments, as Kieran just said. Yes, he heard the comment about the gimbal, but there's a reason we don't do it. Around here, I don't know how a lot of these resellers on YouTube now get away with constantly pulling cameras out and filming everybody. Yes. Around here, they tell you plain and simple, if you film in the boot sales, you're banned. And that's our livelihood. If you go in charity shops, they tell you to turn them off.
Yeah. I saw in a charity shop around here, actually. I saw a girl just take a picture of something, I guess just to show a friend, and someone ran from the other end of the charity shop and no filming there, no filming. I was like, Jesus, why are they so paranoid about it? So, as you can see, what we're doing is trying to make sure that's another factor. It's not to say we respect that. That's how they feel. That's their opinion. That's up to them. So if we're filming, we'd rather just do it inconspicuously, get no faces in whatsoever, only have items so you guys can see what we're looking at, and avoid any of this nonsense where people get upset or anything like that. So there we go. We'll make it work.
Anyway, a little bit of housekeeping. Now, if you like it, please give a like and consider subscribing. Now, Kieran's got a good channel. Link is in the description. If this video goes on his page, then just subscribe. Because we don't know how the collaboration button works. We're going to figure that out today. So consider subscribing to both channels. Mine's Antiques Arena, and we have Taliesin Antiques. We both got our own website, same name, antiquesarena.com, taliesinantiquesarena.com. And we really hope you enjoyed, and we'll get more of these done for you. From that, I think we're done.
That's it, yeah. Thanks for watching, especially if you got this far. And what a pleasure it was.
Yeah, absolute storm. Thank you very much. Bye for now.